you couldn't tell that they were demons until they opened their eyes. Their pupils were white, but you could even tell that they were there because they blended in with the darkness. And they were guarding Biggie's cell. And in this cell, he was on fire. He had on a hospital gown, like we would wear here in the hospital. Like you would come to the hospital and be treated, and they would have you change your clothes and put you in a hospital gown, that type of hospital gown. And he was on fire, but the fire was coming from the inside of him. And he was just holding the bars. It was burning.
Queen, talk about the people that you saw in hell. I know you saw Michael Jackson in
Yeah, I
hell.
thought the
You saw
one
a
that
lot of
stood out to me was Biggie. That's the one and the reason why I stood out, because there was this song called "Give Me One More Chance," and that was when I was in the world. I wanted to be a dancer and I wanted to be a movie star, but that was when I would go to the club, I would always request the remix of that song. And Biggie Smalls, or they called him Notorious Biggie Smalls, or anyway, I called him Biggie. And he was on the Bad Boy label, I believe, with Tupac and Puff Daddy and those types of people. And in 2016, I was in Dakar, Senegal. I lived in Africa for almost 2 years. And I was, at the time, my husband, he was in a band and they were playing at a wedding. And I was at our apartment by myself. I had just finished reading my Bible. I was sleepy. I said, let me just lay down and take a nap. Here we go again. Right when I was about to take a nap, I was not in the apartment. I was standing in hell, and Jesus himself was standing beside me. And I'm looking. I had no thoughts. No, where am I at and why am I here? None of that. I knew I was there to see, and so I was just calm and quiet. And I was in this really, it was pitch black. I mean, if you put your hand up in front of your face, you couldn't see your hand because it was pitch black. And the Lord lightened up the area where we were, maybe 2 or 3 degrees, maybe. Not really bright light, but just bright enough for me to see where I was. Well, it looked like the inside of a cave with black chunks of rock here. To the left was a jail cell. It was a caved out hole in the hell wall, but it had black bars, vertical, black bars, maybe 8 or 9 of them, and they were black, about that thick. And there were 2 demons guarding this cell. These demons were about 13 or 14 feet tall. The demons were darker than the darkness in hell. This craziest thing. And they had safts. They had poles. And you couldn't tell that they were demons until they opened their eyes. Their pupils were white. But you could even tell that they were there because they blended in with the darkness. And they were guarding Biggie's cell. And in this cell, he was on fire. He had on a hospital gown, like we would wear here in the hospital. Like you would come to the hospital and be treated, and they would have you change your clothes and put you in a hospital gown, that type of hospital gown. And he was on fire, but the fire was coming from the inside of him. And he was just holding the bars. It was burning. And I'm standing there beside Jesus, and I asked Jesus, why is he here? And this is what Jesus said verbatim. It's on record in heaven. This man told me he didn't need me. This man believed he was a king. This man went to a fetish priest and got charms that he carried around in his pocket to become famous. He said, but mostly because he told me he didn't need me. And this man will be here throughout all of eternity.
in his song, I just looked up one of these lyrics, 1994 song, Suicidal Thoughts, from Ready to Die, I guess the album. He says, when I die, he said a curse word, and says, I want to go to hell. He said it. That's where he wanted to go.
That's where he is.
Make the right choice for your soul. Time is short. Thank you for being here, and until next time.